Sean Lennon here with the Fightlete Report, and this is your news update for April 29th, 2021. If you haven't, click subscribe on the YouTube channel right now in the link below. And head over to Fightlete.com for more exclusive MMA news, content, and stories as well. And I'm your host, Sean Lennon, with the Fightlete Report. TJ Dillishaw out of his May 8th main event for UFC Vegas 26 fight against Cory Sandhagen. This was announced last night via Instagram, and this was suffered a cut due to an unintentional headbutt during training. This was his first fight scheduled back since his 2-year suspension that started in 2019. USADA handed him that suspension back in 2019. Women's strawweights Michelle Waterson and Marina Rodriguez will now become the main event of May 8th. Although it's not made official, looks like it's the front runner to be. And we saw Michelle Waterson celebrating the news on her Instagram account as well. Also announced today, Cowboy Cerrone versus Diego Sanchez is off the same card at UFC Vegas 26. According to MMAmania.com, multiple outlets have confirmed that Sanchez is out of the May 8th bout at UFC Vegas 26 for undisclosed reasons at this time. And a replacement for the card is in the works for Cowboy Cerrone. We'll see who the UFC brings to Las Vegas to fight Cowboy Cerrone, as the fight is happening next Saturday as well. Two big blows to the UFC Vegas 26 card. We'll see how it shapes up next week. Former UFC heavyweight Daniel Cormier and infamous YouTuber Jake Paul had a confrontation at UFC 261. Unfortunately, last Saturday, DC stepped away from the commentator's desk just to approach Jake Paul, who made comments such as calling him a fat boy online. Of course, Daniel Cormier was apparently the first to start with Jake Paul, leading up to his boxing fight with Ben Askren, saying that funky Ben Askren would knock Jake Paul out, and not liking Jake Paul's criticism of MMA fighters not making the kind of money that he is making. Daniel Cormier, expounded on this on Hawani and DC show when he says, one is like, I feel this guy is being that disrespectful, talking in a way I don't feel he would do to my face. I can't deal with that. So I was sitting at the table and someone's like, Jake Paul is here. I look behind me and he's making faces at me and waving at me. I'm like, what in the world is happening? I said, hey, I'm not gonna play your games, don't mess with me. He continued, I am not going to kid to play with you like this. I'm not gonna be on the internet messing around and all this other stuff. I go, keep my name out of your mouth. And then the security came, and once the security got around, he started to play big boy a little bit. Starts trying to point and do all that. Said Daniel Cormier about their confrontation. Cormier said he would only fight Jake Paul in an MMA fight. Jake Paul has a different kind of story to say, but you can check that out as well on Aaron Hawani's show. Since their confrontation, Jake Paul has said on social media he wants to fight with Nick Diaz over Daniel Cormier. He feels like a win over Diaz would get him an opportunity to fight Conor McGregor. Now, Jake Paul is strictly talking about boxing here, not MMA. As Daniel Cormier alluded to, he would only fight him in an MMA fight. The returning Nick Diaz, we know is coming back to UFC and does not have a date or opponent yet. Also has Khamzat Chimaev's surging prospect in the welterweight division interest in fighting him as well. And as he stated on social media, that he would also like to fight Nick Diaz. UFC 261 sells 700K pay-per-views in the United States, an overwhelming success. And after a horrific injury at that event, Chris Weidman posts x-rays of his leg that was snapped in half. And he gave an update of a successful surgery on his Instagram account before and after x-rays of this horrific injury. Weidman wrote on his Instagram, special thanks to Dr. Gilton for performing a successful surgery and being so helpful during this entire process. Also, a big thank you to Dr. Davidson from the UFC, making sure I was taken care of properly and speaking to those doctors on my behalf. It made me feel so much better having him involved because I knew he had my back. Primary concern is the bone being puncturing through the calf and skin where I put weight on it, making sure the laceration doesn't get infected. It was very encouraging to see, if you do go on Weidman's Instagram account, he was able to manage to stand up and actually sit back down as he moved himself into the SUV that was transporting him to the airport, where he got a private jet set up, courtesy of Dana White, that took him back home to New Jersey. So that's really cool to see Chris Weidman still in good spirits after a horrific injury. Of course, Uriah Hall has also posted on his Instagram account a recount of what he saw happened when Weidman went down in his fight with him, and wishing Weidman a quick recovery, a speedy recovery, and healthy recovery as well. So great sportsmanship between those two. Just want to point that out. I've been asked various MMA fighters in upcoming interviews what they thought of the injury and if they have some thoughts on it as well. So we'll get more on the Chris Weidman story moving forward and updates, but it looks like he'll be out at least 6 months to a year. No way to determine if he'll ever come back to the sport of MMA in the UFC as well. Jon Jones leaves longtime manager Malky Kawa and first round management team. Apparently Malky Kawa said that this has nothing to do with Jon Jones trying to get the fight with Ngannou, trying to get paid what he believes is a fair amount, his longtime manager said about Jon Jones. Ali Abdelaziz has offered his services, given Jon Jones advice recently in an interview saying Jon Jones should just get off social media, make an arrangement to have a meeting with Dana White one-on-one. Dana White is easy to talk to. However, Jon Jones is proposing he gets paid $10 million for this fight with Francis Ngannou, about $10 million or more. I forget the exact numbers, so we'll see what transpires after this, but looks like Jon Jones is a long way from stepping in the octagon with Francis Ngannou, but things can always change. One championship today said that Eddie Alvarez will have his loss to Yuri Lempikus overturned following a unanimous vote from a panel of independent industry experts and one championship officials, judges, and referees to a no contest from a disqualification loss. One championship is pretty much the sanctioning body for their own promotion as well. There is no outside athletic commission. The panel unanimously validated that illegal strikes to the back of the head occurred, but also ruled a majority that a procedural misstep occurred after the second strike to the back of the head. The panel advised that the bout should have been halted and a warning issued after the second strike to the back of the head. But due to a procedural misstep, Alvarez's red card, which meant his disqualification, has been retracted with a yellow card, which is a warning, in its place. In interest to, fairness to both parties, the fight has been called a disqualification, from a disqualification to a no contest. And Eddie Alvarez was back in the cage tonight at one championship as well. This happened back on April 7th. Former UFC women's flyweights, very popular and attractive, I must say, Paige Van Zant and Rachel Ostovich. Their rematch is in the works for a bare knuckle fighting championship. Rachel Ostovich just announced as signed by bare knuckle fighting championship this week. We know Paige Van Zant is ready to return for her second BKFC bout this summer. What better opponent than Rachel Ostovich, who she defeated in UFC in early 2019. No official word as of yet, just that it's more likely that they brought in Rachel Ostovich to fight Paige Van Zant at this point. Good opponent for her. We'll like to see what Rachel has with just the hands, no grappling. See if Paige Van Zant can get that big win in bare knuckle fighting championship. With Sean Lennon with a long update, a little bit longer than usual for the Fightlete Report. Check out Fightlete.com for more exclusive news and interviews as well. And head over to Fightlete.com and like the YouTube page as well. We'll be back. Stay tuned.